Hello there, Spider friends! Let's talk about the powers of the amazing Spider-Man himself, Peter Parker. Like many superpowered members of the Marvel Universe, a byproduct of gaining enhanced abilities is an increased physiology. Basically, that means that he's super strong and can take a serious beating. This typically also includes a healing factor, which means he heals quicker than the average person. This does not mean that he's immune to diseases, however, as occasionally Peter Parker has come down with a cold or a flu, which actually has knocked out his powers for a short time. Obviously, Spider-Man has a wall-crawling ability which enables him to stick to any surface. It has been mentioned in a few special comics that every part of his body possesses this sticky ability, which is both interesting and a little creepy. In January of 2016, the University of Cambridge came to the defense of buzzkills everywhere to set the record straight that this ability would be impossible given the surface area of the average human body. But whatever, it's comic books. In addition to strength, Spider-Man has an incredibly enhanced agility and hyper-reflexes. While Captain America, aka Steve Rogers' strength and agility are those of a human's peak physical ability, Spider-Man's physical attributes are matched by the proportionate abilities of a spider, which are much higher apparently for some reason. And while this alone is enough to make Spider-Man a force to be reckoned with, especially if he's been given sufficient training by expert martial artists like Shang-Chi, they are virtually unstoppable when combined with this. Okay, let's talk Spider Sense. The least scientific of his power set, the Spider Sense is an extension of the idea that a spider has multiple eyes and can theoretically see a wider field of information. In Spider-Man's case, it acts as a mild form of psychic ability or extrasensory perception, which is triggered when placed in what his mind would consider to be danger. This is a rather broad term as Spider-Man relies on a spider sense to avoid bullets, defuse bombs, or even avoid pillow attacks. Now that said, there are some who stand immune to his spider sense, including Venom. Now the reason Venom is immune is because the alien costume's prolonged proximity to Peter Parker when he was using it developed an immunity due to Peter's original perception that the symbiote was not a threat. It's also not terribly effective against interdimensional attacks, and certain chemical agents developed to block it. Another fun byproduct of his spider sense is a small piece of technology that Peter Parker developed himself called a spider tracer, which acts as a proximity alert and tracking device that communicates on the same frequency as his spider sense. Spider-Man's ability to sling webs, however, is actually thanks to the magnificence of Peter Parker's brain. At age 15, he developed a specialized chemical compound and delivery mechanism, which when introduced to the air produced a sticky tensile webbing that can support nearly 120 pounds per square millimeter. He once attempted to patent this miraculous formula, but a built-in component also causes the webbing to biodegrade within 60 minutes. The company in question rejected Spider-Man's offer, citing the uselessness of a miraculous adhesive that becomes ineffective after only about an hour. Now those are the powers or variations on powers Peter Parker developed or engineered since the character first appeared in Amazing Fantasy number 15 in 1962. But in the 50-plus year history of the character, there have been several different Spider-Men with several different power sets, but let's focus just on the additional powers bestowed upon the Prime Universe Peter Parker. The alien symbiote and Sam Raimi's Spider-Man also produce webbing organically from waste materials Peter Parker produced throughout the day. Gross. In Spectacular Spider-Man number 20, after transforming into a giant spider, Peter Parker emerged from its dead husk with his own organic webbing. This, along with many other things, was removed with little explanation during an event called One More Day. While all of his powers were thought to be the result of an irradiated spider, it wasn't until 2001 that it was implied that his powers were not necessarily thanks to a science experiment gone wrong, but in fact deliberately granted to act as this generation's agent of a spider god. The 2005 Spider-Man event The Other introduced a few other abilities. One of them is Spider-Man's ability to communicate, however mildly, with spiders. He can sense their presence, though he doesn't have the ability to control them like Ant-Man. Additional The Other powers include a form of night vision, and the ability to, for a time, produce bony stingers from his wrists, which are coated in a paralysis-inducing venom. For the short time that he wielded them, they also seemed to react involuntarily whenever he came in contact with mystical foes. Now bear in mind, there are many spider-like characters throughout the Marvel Universe, and many of them have modifications or outright differences in their power sets compared to Peter Parker. That said, that's a video for another time. Until then, it looks like the all-new, all-different Peter Parker enjoys the same powers he had basically since Amazing Fantasy 15, albeit with slight alterations. For example, after events in 2015's Spider-Verse, his spider sense was supposedly diminished thanks to Superior Spider-Man's destruction of the mystical web of life, though we haven't really seen much to support that. Let us know what your favorite spider power is in the comment section down below, and we'll see you guys next time. And personally, I think it's his web swinging ability.